Well, hello everyone, and welcome to our first ever IGA Town Hall. This is a live broadcast, which means that we don't have any idea what's really going to happen on this call. And it is our first of these, so it'll be a lot of fun trying to get the technology to work, get the content to come through, and do it in a quick time so that you can hear what's going on in IGA and still have time for questions at the end. And that's sort of the whole point of doing this as a live broadcast. With over 1,100 stores in the United States and with so many different players from store managers and operators all the way up to our LDC partners, we have a very complex organization with lots of learning and feedback and a lot of content inside of our organization. And we're looking at new ways to communicate. So this town hall meeting is the first of what we hope to be a whole series of new ways for you to get access to information about what we're doing at IGA. And rather than just being one-way communication, our objective here is to make it two-way so that we can get your feedback in a timely fashion. So we make sure that we're gathering the information we need to make sure the programs are working for you, they're driving sales, they're helping you be smarter entrepreneurs, and to have more success in your business. So two-way communication, live, new technology, all of this combined, we'll kind of see how it goes. I very much appreciate your attending and for giving your feedback. And of course, there'll be ways for you to submit questions as we go along. In the back half of it, I'll be taking those questions. You're going to see me for part of the time, and then we're going to switch to the slides. And when that happens, you'll be able to switch back and forth. So if you have some perverse desire to watch a goofy redhead talk, you can certainly watch me. I would hope you don't. Instead, pay attention to the slides because they're going to be visually more interesting. It's got where a lot of the content is. Okay, what do we hope to accomplish by this? Well, the first thing is to develop a standardized cadence, a regular way we share information on new products that allow you to both see and understand what they're about, get a certain level of detail so that you can understand how it's going to affect your business, but then just as important, like I said before, to be able to give us feedback on it. And then to develop this cadence so that we're delivering these kinds of messages on a periodic basis, so that the gap between learning isn't just whatever comes out in an email or the annual rally, so that we can fill in the time so we can have more of an interactive dialogue. Over time, we hope this will be more produced. So it won't just be a talking head like me sitting in front of the camera, but we'll be bringing more of the team in to have a dialogue about issues that we face, and that we'll be able to cut into other kinds of footage, or we'll be able to dive into a store and show what's going on in one of our stores, and to use more modern technology to communicate all the cool things that IGA can do in the market. Today we're going to be talking about several initiatives that we showed at the IGA rally. So this was back in February, and some of you in the call were at the rally, and so you'll be seeing more detail on some of the things I shared. And for the others of you, the vast majority are people that weren't able to attend the rally, and therefore some of this content will be new. You're going to see a new format too. You're going to see us try to have a very regimented approach to how we introduce process change. So from ideation and how we come up with a solution, to the validation steps that we use to make sure that shoppers are responding to it or are this likely to be successful, to an implementation and a rollout schedule, so that you have complete clarity about what we're trying to do here in Chicago that would then deploy in your stores. One of the things I'll ask you to do as we go along is to give thought to this communication style and what you'd like to see in the future. So if you're liking this, we can do more of it. If you'd like to see more of a news or an interview format, we can do that. If you'd like this to be an audio-only version of the podcast that you can listen to your car on the way home from the store, all of these are on the table for us to generate new forms of communication so that you as an entrepreneur can see what's going on in a timely fashion, but also so that you can push that information down into the stores so that more folks that are part of the IGA family have an opportunity to learn what we're doing in order to modernize the chain. All right, so let's just jump right into it. And I'm going to be looking off camera here, so I'll be looking at the slides over here to my right. So the first thing we want to talk about is the development process itself. So we developed a 5-stage process for organization of product change. It starts with envisioning, so knowing what's going on in the marketplace. It moves to forming a hypothesis about how we could solve a problem. Then we develop the solutions, the tactics, if you will, that would allow us to solve that problem on behalf of IGA stores. And then there's a validation step. Validation is critical here because we do not want to roll out programs that we do not have shopper feedback on. It's not going to work with the shoppers. Why are we doing it? We don't want to roll out programs that are in competition with our LDCs. If the wholesalers have equivalent programs, we don't want to step on what they're doing. So we want to make sure that we have their voice that comes into the validation step. And then obviously the retailers. If you don't want it, we don't want to work on it. We want to do things that are going to help you drive your business. So validation is really critical. And it'll be a combination of formal research and informal dialogues, qualitative and quantitative, so that everything we do going forward here, so we're doing less guessing, we're doing more knowing to ensure that it's going to work. And that's really important to us. And then finally, the implementation, which is the important part. Like, when can you expect it to roll out? What do you need to do differently? How can you give your feedback in a way that makes it successful? So this new development process, we're going to use it for now on out, and it'll be how we roll out all new programs going forward. So let's jump into this, and I'll show you how it works. And the first thing we're going to talk about is a new national digital ad. Now, why do national ad? IGA does ads every single week. We have ads going on in our retail stores. They're built at the local level, and they support what the LDC and the retailers are doing in conjunction to drive business for your stores each and every week. And many of you digitize that ad already. You roll up a digital version, you're putting it on your websites, many of you are putting it into Facebook, or you're doing links to the promotions that you're doing in your emails. So across 1,100 stores, we've got a lot of activity that are attempting to convert a traditional print ad or a mailer or an in-store ad, something's printed, into new and more modern communications. And many of you are doing very cool things. We have a problem. We have a problem as a chain. And the problem is math. And it goes like this. We as a chain, as long as we're building our content up from a local level, zip code up, we're going to be a massive competitive advantage on the way the internet works against national chains. Because the way the internet works is all about math. If you go out and do a search for the hottest price on barbecue ribs this weekend, or the best sale items for Memorial Day, if you do that search, even though you're doing the search at a local level, it's going to pull in all the hits that have ever happened against those search terms across the country. So if you're a national retailer like a Kroger or a Safeway, you're way more likely to come up in the search returns than even the best of an independent retailer. So with your IGA or another independent, you're at a competitive advantage right off the bat. And it almost doesn't matter how good your ad is or how slick your mobile app or what cool stuff that you're doing, the math is always going to be against you. And you can see this happen in the way the national advertisers build their ads. If you go to Kroger.com or Safeway.com, Walmart, they'll ask you to input your zip code. They start national, so they get all the benefits of all that activity, and then they display the ad at a local level for you as a consumer based on the zip code that you enter. Start national, end up local. Unfortunately for independents, because everything we do serves our local community, we're so focused locally, we're trying to roll local up to national, and we will always be at a massive competitive advantage. So, IGA Corporate, your brand, our team, we have to do this for you. We have to build a national layer so that we don't miss out on all of those shoppers that should be seeing IGA ads that today probably won't see them, but we completely missed, and all they'll see is the regional and the national advertisers. Okay, you with me? All right, so let's talk about what we're doing here. So our hypothesis is we need to solve this for you. But a couple other ideas here is that we can use the state-of-the-art digital technology in order to build a national digital layer that isn't just our ads digitized, but it's using best-in-class technology, harvesting 1,100 retailers. We'll get to act as a national brand here in a way that we probably haven't done for a very, very long time. Program development, how are we doing it? Well, think of this as a series of bumpers on your ad. So each week you're producing your ad, you're doing your specials, your meat promotions, your seafood, your holiday weekends, whatever you do, none of that is going to change. You will continue to build your ad exactly the way you always have. You'll work with your ad groups, you work with your LDCs, you work with your suppliers, and you build your promotions, and none of that was changed, and IGA is not going to get in the middle of that in any way. So no new effort for you. But what we're going to do is we're going to roll your local ad up into a series of bumpers, top and bottom, and we're going to build that as a mobile experience that can be seen by any shopper coming in through national media. Does that make sense? So your ad, untouched, not messing with your specials, not getting in the midst of the deals that you make, rolled up into a national framework so IGA local can look like a national chain. And I'm going to show you this. I'm going to actually do a demo and show you what it's going to look like. So what you should see on your screen is a mobile phone. This will work on any mobile device, and it'll be narrow and vertical on a mobile phone. It'll be wide on a computer monitor, and it can change based on the device the shopper uses. Shopper can discover this in a lot of different ways. In the beginning, we're going to partner with a company called Flip, which is an aggregator of retailer ads, everything from Macy's and Best Buy all the way down to some of the smallest independent retailers. Every national retailer is on Flip except for IGA, and we're going to fix that. So we'll be right there. But Flip will be only one part of our national strategy. We'll be adding media vendors to this over time to make sure that we can incrementally increase the number of eyeballs that see our ad each week. Let me give you the math on that. We believe that across all of IGA, all of our stores, all the versions we do, we print about 10 million copies a week. That's a lot. Our objective here is to reach 40 million incremental shoppers digitally. That's 4x the exposure that you're getting at a local level. Now, we got a little while to get there, and I'll show you the timeline in a second, but our objective is to increase our total draw rate by 4 without having to charge the retailers or the wholesalers any additional money, and I'll talk about economics at the tail end, okay? All right, how's the ad going to work? So I have a mobile ad. The bumper at the top, seasonal events that we run. And think of this kind of like the quarterly events that we've been doing, but this will run every other week. So we'll have a series of specials that we do with manufacturers, national offers, tapping into national shopper marketing and national advertising funds, not in competition with your trade funds. These national offers will roll. So think about 4 offers, right? And then your ad follows underneath. And so if you've got great deals running on hamburger buns and hot dogs for a holiday weekend, if you're doing something with condiments, if you're doing something with barbecue in your store, whatever deals you did will fold right up into the ad. So the shopper is literally seeing your ad from the very beginning, all right? And if you're doing meat specials, you're doing category events, if you're doing anything special with your deli, whatever messages you put in your ad, expect them to flow right into this mobile app and have the look and feel of the way you advertise. So if a shopper in your market saw your ad online versus in store, it would look completely like. They would feel like they're shopping the same brand, and that's very important. All right? Now, here's where it starts getting exciting. So the ad can also pull in rich media. What you're seeing right now is a box. It's a produce box. It's got some produce offers. But in the middle is a video that would play that would show how to make a BLT salad. And you've probably seen these on Facebook where little quick videos play about how to make a recipe. So imagine this ad with that video playing right in the center of it. And then there's a button over to the right to be able to download the recipe. This is an example of being the best-in-class digital technology to bear on behalf of a retailer's ad. And it's the one thing that most retailers don't do. This is an opportunity for us to differentiate. If you think about the ads that you see for Best Buy and for Macy's and for JCPenney and for Safeway and Kroger, if you think about what you see online, typically what you see is the same print ad, looks exactly the same way, just turned into a digital format. Maybe you can click on it or scroll through it. But I mean, it really isn't much different than the experience of reading a print ad. And here's the math. Here's the math behind static display advertising. A static display banner ad online will get on average about 0.7% response rate. That means 93% of people will ignore it. If you make that ad animate and move in any way, you can get to 3 or 4% of people that will click on it. If you get that display ad to have video and be interactive, you can get to 15-20% of the people will interact with it. Well, we want people interacting with our ads. We want our deals to show off. So what we're going to do is we're going to embed these rich media experiences in our ad so that looking at the IGA ad is one of the coolest experiences that a shopper could find. They're going to learn more and see cooler stuff, and it's going to be surrounded by the deals and offers that we would normally do. Our objective is to give you more eyeballs and to invest in the technology. It's hard for an independent to do. We'll be building this content to make sure our ad is one of the most readable and enjoyable shopping experiences online. So in this instance, we would be showing a video here on how to make this salad. But this also could be product demonstration. It could be showing off how to use a new product in the marketplace. It could be a tie-in to the sports sponsorships, entertainment sponsorships that go on with our manufacturers. So Coca-Cola or Hershey's is doing an Olympics promotion. We could have some of their promotional materials right within the ad and make it fun. Imagine this for pet. And imagine if we ran an ad on how to keep your pet flea-free this summer, right? We could show the products, we could show the instructions right in the ad, and our ad could deliver both savings and information to you as a shopper that make you smarter than any other grocery ad on the market. Differentiate or die, make sure that this investment really shows off the high service levels you can get out of an IGA store that you're never going to get out of a dollar store or Walmart. Let your imagination go crazy on the idea of rich media. This could be shopper testimonials. We could do taste tests between IGA private label and national brands. We could do sweepstakes in this. We could literally interview your deli manager or somebody in produce that hit a milestone, and we could just show off all the cool things that we're going to do. Rich media doesn't really exist in a portable form in our industry. So we've got time. We're going to have to build this content library up, and we're committed to putting the resources together against it in order to make it cool. But of course, our manufacturers are really excited about this because they want to be able to show off all the cool brand messages and all the exciting things about their product. It's of course impossible to do in a little rectangle with a price next to it. And we do expect that our ad will have more rich media, more experiences in it than any other retailer in any other category on the market. It's very, very exciting. Now also think about this box we're showing here. So you've got some produce items, you've got a picture of this finished product, you've got the video of the recipe, you have the ability to download the recipe. That rectangle can be used outside of the ad. And this is really exciting too. If we build this content, we could give it to you and you can put it on your website. You could put it on your Facebook page. You can embed a link to this in your emails that you send out. Whatever you're doing to communicate with your shoppers, our objective is to get you really cool new content. And if we're doing our job right, the ways the shoppers engage with their local IGA store will just get better and better and better. They'll be more fun, they'll be more interesting, and of course we're going to have great savings and values to go along with it. Now, it's not just about the products that come in through in your store, but it's also about the products that we manage, and that would include the IGA private label brand. And so our commitment to this is to build more promotions around IGA private label, to promote them more heavily and more aggressively, and to make sure that shoppers can find and discover deals inside their store on IGA private label right alongside whatever you're doing in your normal store. So expect to see this, including the ability to do coupons and rebates and other kinds of promotions right within the ad. And of course, the idea of coupons is interesting because shoppers can discover coupons in a lot of places. Being able to discover and eventually clip the coupon right within the ad means that we can net out the savings for the shopper. Now, this won't happen in 2018. The coupon clipping capability we'll be looking for in 2019. But what our objective is to have the shopper be able to discover cool products, find savings, collect those savings, and to show the net effect inside of your store. Normally $4, on sale for $3, $1 off coupon. Well, that's massive savings to the shopper, and they can do that right within the ad. And by first quarter, we hope to have that functionality rolling on this. All right, now let's talk about new product launches. The lifeblood of our industry of manufacturers is all about new products. They invest millions of dollars both in product development and then millions of dollars in marketing, generating huge amounts of impressions and excitement in the consumer about new products. And yet often grocery stores are real laggards, especially independents, about getting the new product in sync with the manufacturer's national advertising. So we're going to be working with manufacturers to try to move IGA from amongst less than best in class to best in class in how we launch new products. We'll work with the LDCs. We're going to make sure that any new product they've got is actually in the warehouse. And then we're going to be putting these ads with either incentives or unique experiences, unique packaging, so that the shopper can discover those new products in our stores. Of course, we think you're going to be excited to have them in the store because we've got a new vehicle to drive shoppers interested in something new straight into your store. We'll back this up with signage. We're going to back this up with unique shippers. We'll back it up with unique promotions over time so that IGA shoppers get something that others don't. And again, these can be any kind of promotion we want them to be. So a very flexible canvas to work with manufacturers to make sure we're getting in sync with their national promotions and we're getting their dollars. And we're being able to promote it in a way that enhances what you're doing locally, doesn't compete. Our objective for this is to tap into national marketing, brand, digital, and shopper marketing funds. And here's another piece of math for you. We ran a report recently, looked at the percentage of national promotions. I'm not talking about trade promotions linked to cases that you buy. I'm talking about national promotional dollars. And 80% of the national promotions, we're not making it down into the independent segment at any scale. That means deals that are going out to other kinds of chains, like a Tops or a Weiss or a Deca or a Brookshire Brothers down in Texas. Much smaller chains than us were getting access to these national deals that we weren't. Why? One of the reasons why is we didn't have a national advertising vehicle. We had nothing to sell them. And so this whole new program will be funded and will be supported by manufacturers that will be so excited to be able to promote across a 1,100 store chain. We're going to get credit at being a national chain like we deserve. They're going to have an efficient advertising vehicle, and we're going to be tapping into funds that we know exist that we haven't been getting as a chain. All right? Pretty cool stuff. Now, all of the categories, the way you engage with your ad. We can do really exciting things with this to make sure every deal is findable and searchable. The ad can generate a shopping list. And of course, if you've got an e-commerce solution in your store today, or you've got one coming, the shopping list can port what shoppers shop out of the ad straight into their basket. So we'll design this as an open architecture to work with whatever technologies, mobile apps, whatever you're doing in the store. Our objective is to support you and not make your life more complicated. Pretty cool, pretty cool. 40 million objective, coolest, richest digital experience, a whole interactive experience for the consumer, portability of the assets so that your ads and your local marketing become more interesting and more interactive. And then finally, the last part about this, which may turn out to be one of the most exciting things, is data. So today, your print ad, your mailer, you don't know who actually read it, and of the people who read it, you don't know what they paid attention to and what they ignored. That's invisible to you. Online, though, we've got complete data. And so we'll be developing dashboards and reports for this. So if it turns out we ran hot dog buns and hamburger got 3x the clicks as hot dog, that's data to know about our digital ad, but that's data you can use to make smarter decisions in the print ads that you run each week. And also, you'll be getting data across LDCs. So you'll be able to see outside of your ad group if hot dog buns was the top clicked on item for Memorial Weekend and you didn't run it, you'll be getting that data to be able to say, wow, there's activity and interest in this product category that maybe I've ignored before. Maybe next time I might want to include that in my choices. So not only is it a cool digital experience, interactive, all the things I said, but also the learning out of how shoppers engage with our advertising that can come back and make you smarter, and all of the merchandising you do. And this is an example of one of these new programs that we'll be rolling out. All right, so let's go through some of these questions. So how much effort do you need to put into it? Our objective is as little as possible, almost none. Your ad group will have to send us the same files they send to the printer. We may need to get access to a data file underneath it that they're going to send out. So your ad groups will have to add the IGA digital ad to the list of vendors that need to get it besides a commercial printer. But for you as a retailer, you shouldn't have to do anything different if you do not want. We'll just pick this up. Ad frequency. Our objective is to get this to roll out every other week. And that's all we think we can accomplish in 2018 and the first half of 2019. If it's working and exciting, and I think it will be, you're going to be calling and saying, John, let's run this every single week. And if you like that, then we'll try to help us figure out how we can get to a weekly frequency as the year progresses. But we don't want to overpromise and underdeliver, so we're going to go every other week with this, which means every other week you should be getting a boost in readership of your ad. Now, what I think is interesting about the every other week is your ability to test. Many retailers, I've visited hundreds of stores now, and I've talked to many of you about what you'd like to see and what problems you're having in the store. And one of the things that comes up so often is, hey, John, when can I get rid of my print ad? It's a lot of effort. I get increasingly less and less results. What should I do about my print ad? And the interesting thing about this is because every other week your ad will be running digitally, it may be an opportunity for you to experiment with not printing it that week. Worst could happen is you could go back and you do it upcoming. But if you found out that the national digital ad could carry you and you could cut your ad expense in half, wouldn't that be exciting? And then maybe over time, we can figure out how to migrate more of your budget into digital, and I can show you how to do other kinds of digital advertising using all these assets. That's a long-term goal. Okay, click data I talked about. You have access to national offers. One of the problems before of our national offers is we were only doing them 4 times a year. And doing them 4 times a year, we couldn't sync with the things that national brands were doing because they're on cadences all over the board. So having a higher frequency will allow us to get more deals, better deals, more relevant deals for you, and we're using data to make sure these are cool things that can drive sales for you. We're going to be committing to the exclusive brand offers. Like I said, new product launches is a big deal with this. We want to make sure it's in your stores, but we want to make sure that the shopper knows that IGA is a good place to see some of the coolest new items coming forward, and that should be the lifeblood of this thing. And then finally, is there competition for your manufacturing dollars? I've said it 4 or 5 times. Let me say it again. No. No, 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 and no, and no. And if any rep ever comes to you and says, I'm not giving you money because I gave money to Chicago corporate, you call me and I pull it out of the ad immediately. That's not what this is about. We know that there are dollars and funds that are available to national chains that we as a national chain haven't been getting, and that's my target. And if at any point ever I interfere with anything that you're doing with your suppliers, I'll pull it out of my ad so that it'll protect you. Okay, that's my guarantee. I don't want to hurt, I only want to help. All right, so where are we on toward this whole thing? We're going to be piloting this here coming up very, very quickly in June. Our goal is to have a select group of retailers. We'll be running it, and of course, we've got to get the communication from the ad groups. We've got to get the data files right. There's a lot of things that we have to accelerate here in order to make that happen. Assuming that the June tests go well, we'll be coming back in with a goal to get the vast majority of retailers available by July 1st. Probably won't hit all. Our goal would be all, but we know we're IGA, right? And so there's always a level of communication and, you know, getting to the retailers and getting the communication out. So we'll be working on this with our objective to be getting the highest critical mass we can possibly do by July 1st. If we get all of you guys online, wouldn't that be exciting? And then all the cool, slick digital stuff that you saw and some of the features of the ad, we just don't have that content yet. We don't have the cooking videos. We don't have the new product demonstration. So we've got to collect all that data with the objective of being able to introduce the rich media by fall. So that coming into 2019, every ad that runs every other week is the most exciting grocery ad in the industry. I hope you'll be very, very proud of this. What do you need to do? So we've got a more detailed webinar coming up on the 19th. And this is about the questions you're going to have, like what changes can you make, and how big is your logo going to be, and what happens if you're operating in if you have different people operating in the same zip code, how will the shopper discover your ad versus another IGA's, and all the kinds of things that you're going to ask. Make sure you attend this new webinar. It's a detailed webinar on this, specifically on April 19th. It's really critical that you do that. You need to get your ad groups engaged. So make sure that whether it's your wholesaler or an independent ad group you're working with, make sure you're talking about this. Get excited about it. It's going to be cool. It's not going to be a lot of extra work, and it should be great learning for our entire chain. All right. I'm sure you got a lot of questions. Make sure you're submitting them as we go along, and I'll answer them at the tail end of it. All right, let's keep going here. There's a timeline for it's going to come with December, maybe slipping into Q1 being the first full media release. All right. Now I want to switch gears and we'll talk about our brand. The IGA brand tests exceedingly well with consumers. They love our brand. It's high emotional scores, high recall scores, high favoritism scores in terms of quality of service, family friendly, a brand I would know and trust, and a brand that helps me to be smarter about how I buy groceries. A long list of questions that many other national brands would love to have our scores. But the problem with IGA today is we have not invested in branding with a capital B. Because we haven't operated as a national chain, we haven't been running the national TV commercials, the digital advertising. We haven't built that national layer to make sure that the brand is well cared for. And in fact, our brand promise may have aged. And so brands we have to constantly be in contact with your consumers and rethinking how you bring your brand to marketplace to make sure that you're relevant to what's going on in the marketplace. Now, here's what we know. Our data says that shoppers believe local is incredibly powerful. They think that local stores have fresher products. They think local stores are more likely to have better for you products. And by the reverse, they're afraid that big national chains are buying from big evil corporate farms that may be shipping products from who knows where that may not be as healthy and good for you as they would like. Isn't it interesting? Isn't it fascinating that the very advantage that big chains have had over us for so many years, their scale, their clout, shoppers are increasingly coming to be suspicious that they're not really getting a value that they thought. And so our advantage here is that as a local retailer, as a hometown proud retailer that's seen as a part of the community, shoppers today are scoring local and believing we have fresher products in our store than the national brands, and we're going to capitalize on it. We're going to use that insight of what shoppers want, and we're going to double down on that in a big way. We're not giving up hometown proud. We're going to evolve hometown proud into this idea that your local store is more likely to have fresh and healthy products, something the shopper already believes is true. Now, let's look at the data. If you talk to shoppers, say there's two grocery stores equal distance from each other, why would you choose one retailer over another? Convenience, low prices, quality and freshness, selection and service. Statistically, they're all tied for the top scores. And low prices, convenience, and selection, they've always been sort of the holy trinity of retail. If you win in those scores, you're going to grow the share of your store. But what's new, what's really changed, is that quality is evolving with a new attribute. And if you look at consumer research 10 years ago, 5 years ago, 3 years ago, and now, freshness has been growing as an attribute of what shoppers are looking for in a way that we have not seen a change to these metrics in 45 years. It's an amazing change. Part of that's driven by consumer attitudes. Part of it's being driven by millennials, Gen X and Gen Y coming into the marketplace and having more influence on food. Part of it's attitudes in the press about sort of the evils of corporate farming. There's a lot of factors driving this. But today we have an audience that's more passionate about food at any age group, and any demographic than we've ever seen before. And they believe that quality must mean freshness in some way. So we're going to capitalize on that. Now notice that the reasons to shop a store, by the time you get over to locally owned and gives back to the community, these scores are not as strong as those top four. Convenience we can win on depending on where our stores are located. Of course, that's variable. Low price is hard to win on. We can be great value, but beating the price players at price is not what IGA has ever been about. And certainly selection will vary widely based on the size of your store. But the attribute that we can is we can be local because they think local means fresh. And that's our strategy here. And of course, these statistics, believe it. You can see people believe the product's fresher. They believe that they're going to enjoy it more. They think it's going to taste better. And in fact, of course, your experience is locally bought watermelons and strawberries are awesome. They're really great. Ask yourself how good a job you do of telling shoppers about what's local in your store. If you walked around with a clipboard and wrote down every time you showed shoppers that something was local, how filled would your clipboard be? And some of you are doing a great job of this. I've been in stores, handwritten tags, Georgia grown. Some of you put pictures up of the farmers, all these kinds of things. We're going to give you kits and infrastructure in order to be able to do that in a better way. Because in a lot of stores I visit, it's invisible. You can't tell the difference between potatoes that are grown locally and ones that came internationally. And it is kind of a crying shame that grocery stores in general are not great visual merchandisers. As an industry, we don't tell our stories as aggressively as other kinds of brands. Imagine if REI or Apple ran a grocery store. Imagine the language that they would use to describe their cool products. Well, we could do the same thing. We're going to give you that tip. There's another input here on this, and that is this third statistic about economic impact. So the amazing thing about this insight, local being more fresh, is that shoppers already make a connection that buying from a local retailer has a rational attribute for their community, hometown proud. Buying local keeps the money in my community, but if I buy local and fresh product, it also is supporting local farmers and the farm infrastructure around my stores. And so it keeps my small town, my medium-sized town, my neighborhood, my community more healthy as well. And whenever you get a branding attribute that is both emotional and rational, double down on that and use it because you will see big results. All right, what's it look like? What's the idea? Well, we got some concepts going here. So the first one is a new branding concept. You can see it up in the right-hand side of the screen, which says Family of Independent Farmers, IGA, established 1927. And this is a branding construct to say that family farmers working with family retailers means fresh local products for your store. And we're going to be building TV campaigns against this, product marketing. I mean, we're going to change the packaging of our private label, which we'll not be talking about today. We'll talk about it on another webcast coming up. But we're going to be using these assets of the farm, committing to local and fresh in a way that is explicit about our promise to local. And then we're going to be using this new tagline, which is fresh equals local, local equals fresh. And by combining these assets together, our objective is to differentiate IGA from national chains, reinforce a hypothesis the shopper already has, and to do it in a way that helps you to get credit for IGA in the marketplace, which on your own you may not be able to do. So our hypothesis has been that providing this branding campaign and these news assets will help you get better scores on selection and freshness, healthy, quality, all the attributes that you want to have for your store. And our hypothesis is if we do that, our job as a national advertiser will be driving new people to consider IGA that haven't thought of us in a very long time, and introducing IGA to a whole new generation of shoppers for whom fresh and local and healthy are critical. This concept of farm to store to table is really important the younger you get, and we're hoping to use these new branding assets to connect with younger shoppers in a way that maybe Hometown Proud hasn't for a very, very long time. All right, what's it mean? It means in store, it means in ad, it means on product, and it means online. And on product, again, we're going to be changing the IGA label. We'll show you that in a few weeks, what that's going to look like, but we're going to be changing all the ways that IGA communicates in and around this idea of a commitment to local and fresh. In this picture, you can see some of the signage. So you can see hanging signs. You can see signs to talk about the farmers in your local community, actually on the product. You can see department level signs. We'll have new signage that can go on the baked goods that you make in the store, or signs that can put in the potato salad or coleslaw that you make in the store. We'll give you new department level and environmental graphics that you can use so that the shopper, as they move around your store, you're constantly reinforcing the things that are intensely local. And here's another insight for you. We think about exclusive brands and private label often as what's in the can or the box. The shopper thinks about anything that you make or do locally as also part of your private label brand. And so we want to connect the private label products in the can, in the box, cereals, and the canned goods that we do with the products you do and pull those all together as a master brand in a way that will make shoppers think IGA is really on target for local and for freshness. Now, you have a campaign like this and you want to say, well, sounds good. Good response from the retailers the wholesalers have seen so far. The graphics are differentiated and look like they would test well. What do the shoppers think? And so recently we went in and we did some market research against this. And we talked to our consumers. How are they feeling about it? And guess what? They loved it. And this is with a capital L and a triple underline and an exclamation point at the end of it, right? They love the idea of local is fresh. They already believe that it's true. They think that in our stores we're way more likely to have great product. They just couldn't be more excited about the campaign. And of course, they began to brainstorm about how hometown proud and local equals fresh work together because, of course, we would be supporting local family farmers as well. Wherever possible, IGA buys from local and regional family farms. Local retailers working with local farmers because local equals fresh. That little phrase there, wherever possible, IGA buys from local and regional family farms because local equals fresh. That'll be part of our TV campaigns and everything that we do going forward. It's going to be the cornerstone for how we differentiate IGA and why you'd shop us so that shoppers begin to think of IGA in a new and more fresh light. No pun intended. All right. Here's some verbatims. Shoppers on their own were saying Walmart can never do this. I can't imagine a national chain be able to pull this off. It wouldn't be credible for them. Using our size and our scale as an advantage versus a disadvantage, this is pretty exciting stuff. All right, when are you going to start seeing it? We're going to give a complete signage kit that's going to go out. That signage kit, you'll be able to draw down on those assets and use them in your stores as they fit. And there'll be a combination of pre-printed signs and things that you could write on yourself in order to be able to take advantage of this new branding campaign, and we think you're going to be excited to use them. We're actually going into a store right now. One of our retailers has volunteered to put a signage kit in his new grand opening that's happening here in April. And once the sign is up, we'll go back in and test them again, and we'll just get feedback from shoppers, how they're engaging with them. That'll finalize our design, and in June we'll have it available for you so that you can roll out as much or as little of the signage kit as you want for your stores. And we've been looking for your feedback on what works and doesn't work for you. All right, last topic I want to talk about on our town hall today is best practice sharing. It is a no-brainer. We have 1,100 stores. We have entrepreneurs that are very smart. They're doing exciting things inside their store. We have not done a great job of taking the ideas that are working, that are driving comp sales and incremental gross margin. We've not done a great job of taking those ideas and moving them into the chain. And so expect to see a whole new problem here, a solution for the problem of great ideas are trapped in the chain. How do you get them out and how do you make them easy to implement? So we're going to be bringing a new best practices sharing mechanism to the table under the hypothesis that more than anything could happen out of Chicago or any of the IGA corporate leaders, the ideas for success are buried within the larger chain, not just the 1,100 stores in the U.S., but the 6,000 stores worldwide. Cool things are happening everywhere. We've got retailers having great success in the aisle. We want to capture it. We want to productize it. We want to share it in a statistically, in a significantly easy way for you to get access to it. We're working on collecting the ideas right now. And if you're doing something cool in your store, it's got to meet this criteria. It's got to be somebody cool. It's got to be innovative. It's got to be driving sales. Because we want to know, we don't want to share ideas that are just cool, but they're not driving sales. So if you've got something to improve your department or your category comp sales, if you've taken your cost out, if you improved your gross margin, we want to know about it. And we're collecting those ideas right now. We're going to vet and filter them, and then we're going to put the instruction sheets behind them. Those instruction sheets will go out to you. After we vetted them, a sample group of retailers will be looking at them saying, yeah, these are good, these are implementable, and then off we go. What kind of ideas are we looking for? Anything that's driving results. It could be a new recipe you're trying in deli. It could be new packaging that you've done for your cakes in your bakery. It's reinforcing the fact that those are locally baked. It could be a major program that you put in, like you put in a new pizza kitchen and you made a massive capital investment, but you're getting a big return out of it. It could be a change in your assortment. Maybe you've decided to double down on your single-serve craft beers, and that's having a comp store increase in your store. Or it could be something very, very basic, like you expanded your cut fruit and vegetable assortment, and when you took it, doubled its size, you got 3x the sales results. Whatever's happening in your store that you're proud of, we want to capture it, we want to productize it, and we want to share it. And we're going to do it in a lot of different ways. Some ideas will be shared in print, some of them will be shared using video and instruction sheets, some will come into your store and will actually shoot instructional video of how other retailers could copy what you do and share it. We have 6,000 stores. We have 5,000 entrepreneurs that are super smart about how to serve their local communities. We're going to harness that and make it valuable. All right. When can you start to see it? We're collecting it now, April 3rd through the 15th. We kind of shared it with our advisory board. All of them are supposed to be soliciting ideas to us. We'll get our first few out there so that you can see them. We're going to put it in a library online that you'll be able to get. That starts on June 4th. There's a lot happening in the summer, and you'll be able to use that library information to go forward. And then finally, we'll just roll it out as we go with periodic communication so that every retailer can see it. All right. I have gone too long. I've gone too long because I'm so excited about what we're talking about. So if you can stay on the broadcast, I'll try to answer a few questions here really, really quickly. Next time, I'll try to be more on time with the formal content so we have more interactive stuff. So how will retailers know about the national items that IGA will include in the digital ad? This is a great question. I think one of the problems we've had in the past is our cadence. Because we were doing national promotions only quarterly, we had to force manufacturers into our cadence versus syncing with theirs. By having more frequent intersections, we'll be able to sync up with their national calendars. Our goal is to be 6 months out or greater and to communicate that well in advance. So if it conflicts with something that's going on with the LDCs or the retailers, you'll know about it and you'll be able to see what's going on. And we'll be communicating that both in the new version of the IGA weekly communications, but also through direct communication with you through your ad groups. Will the digital ad look the same throughout the country, or will it differ depending on the LDC? It'll differ depending on the store. So the app, the way it operates, the header, the footer, the rich media bars, those will all be constant. Those will look the same. But your colors, your patterns, the way you do your product photography, all the things that happen in there, it's going to look like your ad. It's going to look like your ad. Your shoppers will look at it and go, wow, you've done some really cool stuff here. This is great. We're not going to try to force a one look and feel across the industry. Question 3. I'm already buying products from local farms in season, but what are you suggesting for seasons where they're not much available? Yeah, this is the trick, right? I'm not naive. I know that the vast majority of products that come in our store come through traditional, modern supply chain. And there are times of the year, like midwinter, when you might have kale and just a couple other things. In that instance, let the department level signage saying we're committed to local and fresh. Let it do it. If you've got some local products, put the sign on it for the local farmer and go. Come spring, we're going to do a better job of visual merchandising so it's more overt and obvious that we're buying local. And what I hope over time is as the farmers show up, they're going to want their picture and their story in it. And more local suppliers will come to you because who doesn't want to be heroic, right? Who doesn't want to have their products and their family farm shown off? And that over time, we'll develop a reputation of being friends to the local family farmers. But I do know that for some parts of the year, it'll be department level signage low, and that's okay. That's okay. I like the signs you showed. When and how can I get them, and how much will they cost? Well, we're going to put them into a standard package, and the package will be a combination of things you can order that are pre-printed, and then there'll be a combination of things that you can get where it's the frames where you can write in like what's special in your deli, or you can write in the name of the local farmers, and then there'll be a way for you to also ask for customization of those signs so they fit with your decor package or what you're trying to do. All right, so it'll be 3 levels of it. These will all go into the signage portal, and you'll be able to download those at whatever amount that you want. And of course, IGA, we are a nonprofit. We pass all the costs on to you, so it's not going to be any more or less expensive than anything that you've done before. You'll be able to buy the signage kit that fits your budget in your store. All right, you can't do anything yet. We're going to get it up in a grand opening here in April. We're going to run some shoppers through it. We're going to get feedback. We're going to do another round of proofing against it, and then by June it'll be up and available for download for all of you. Best practices are a good idea, but I've seen other people try it and got messy and complicated. How you keep it simple and organized so I get my people to use it? Boy, this is a great question. Yeah, so best practices Best practice sharing and share groups in general suffer from three problems. The first one is too much generality. Share groups often talk in adjectives, not in numbers. It's a great program. We had great success with it. Shoppers really like it. Okay, I'm not really interested in storytelling. I'm interested in numbers. So if you double the size of your cut fruit display and sales went up 220%, I want to know that. We'll validate it through the sales data we've got. We'll package that up because we want to do programs that really drive sales on a sustained basis. The second problem is that no one takes the editorial effort to turn into an instruction sheet, and we're going to do that. We're going to use our resources to put in blue apron style instructions so that any other retailer that wanted to copy it could do it, including asking you questions like, what are the top 3 mistakes that you made? Or if you had to do it all over again, what would you do different? So that we capture both the easy and the cool results, but also some of the pitfalls that you had. And the goal here is to de-risk innovation, so that if other retailers are having success, you can have an easier way to do it. And of course, we're going to include make it easier for you to communicate as peers. So if you see something really cool, you like it, and you want to see how you could customize the deal, you'll be able to contact your peer because you'll know what they're doing and you'll know it's working. We are out of time. I'm sure that there are dozens of more questions that came in. Keep submitting them. We'll answer them electronically. Let me know what you thought of this format. I promise you next time it won't just be me droning on. I'm so excited about the stuff that's going on at IGA. I cannot tell you. So much innovation. Team's so excited about it. Positive feedback coming in. We won't get everything right, but we're going to move the needle and we're going to move fast. I want you on board. So excited that you joined me. Thank you for being a part of the town hall.